Tom Brady shook up the league when he signed with Tampa Bay, but nobody was left more surprised than the New England Patriots, who were left searching for their next quarterback. Brady put together one of the greatest dynasties in sports history in New England, winning 6 Super Bowls and tormenting the league. But all good things must come to an end. The one-year Cam Newton trial had its ups and downs, forcing the Patriots' hand at the 2021 NFL Draft to take Mac Jones. Jones was a star at Alabama, leading the Crimson Tide to a national championship and showing off his pure intelligence and work ethic while cementing himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the draft class before being selected 15th overall. He beat out Newton in camp and has played every offensive snap for New England this season. He's obviously had his ups and downs, like every rookie does, but all that matters is that he's moving in the right direction for the future. The Patriots definitely aren't the Patriots of old, but Bill Belichick is still there, and it appears that he's already found his guy. But if you want more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any daily uploads. If there was any quarterback in the draft class that felt like a perfect fit for New England, it was easily Mac Jones. He has the all-work, no-play mantra to him, just like Tom Brady did. After Jones threw his first career touchdown, he wouldn't keep it as a keepsake. Instead, he told reporters that it didn't matter and that New England had to score more and be better in the red zone. He didn't even want to talk about his individual stats in his debut. Jones talked about how all that mattered was winning, and it was going to take everyone on the field because football is a team sport, and there were things that he had to fix. He's all business all the time. Offensive lineman Trent Brown has said that Jones has a perfectionist attitude during practices, stating that if a play doesn't go perfectly, he'll do it over again. He doesn't have the same sure talent as a lot of the guys in the class. In fact, out of Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields, he's easily the least physically gifted. Come on, you've seen pictures of this man without his shirt on. For context, here's one of them. I mean, he looks like a guy that's supposed to be selling cars in a handful of years, not a starting NFL quarterback. But it does mirror a certain quarterback who was once overlooked due to his physical attributes. Jones isn't going to beat you on the field with his ridiculous talent. He's going to beat you because he's smarter than you. I know, you usually don't think smart when you think of Alabama. But Jones is a former 3-star recruit, not some blonde sorority girl stumbling around the campus in Tuscaloosa. Ahead of the draft, Kirk Herbstreit had a ton of praise for Jones, explaining how he processes more than anyone in the class and has an assassin's mindset. There isn't a lot of room for him to grow to the point where he can make the throws that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes can, but he does have the mental capabilities to outsmart and outwork opposing defenses, like we saw with players like Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Some guys are gifted in the womb, and other guys work their ass off to get to where they are, and Jones is one of those guys. Plus, he's a proven winner. The Alabama mindset is just different. Nick Saban teaches his guys things that not only led to one of the greatest college dynasties of all time, but prepared them for the pro level. He calls it the process. No, not the process in Philadelphia that clearly doesn't work and leads to your star player who can't shoot, even though that's like half his job, to want out of the franchise. Cups of rose. This process works. Saban has instilled some crazy philosophies. Saban is a genius, and it shows. Besides, Bill Belichick already knows what kind of coach Saban is after Saban served as his defensive coordinator when he was the head coach of the Browns. Speaking of Bill Belichick, he's a genius in his own regard. If you haven't listened to his coaching philosophy, it's absolutely nuts. A lot of his strategy comes from Art of War, an ancient book from the Chinese military written around the 5th century BC. The philosophy is simple for Belichick. Attack weaknesses, utilize strengths, and figure out what the strengths of the team are. Find out the weaknesses of your opponent and attack. Nobody has been more prepared over the past 2 decades for anything quite like the New England Patriots. Take a look back at that iconic Malcolm Butler pick at Super Bowl 49. Belichick knew that Seattle wasn't running the ball because the Seahawks didn't run the ball in sets with 2 wide receivers out wide. Butler got that memo and was able to pick it off to win the game. The moral of the story? Nobody has gotten more lucky with head coaches than Mac Jones. Saban put him in the position to dominate in college, as Jones broke the NCAA record with a 77.4 completion percentage and led the country with 4,500 yards to go with 41 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. The system was perfect, and there's no doubt that it helped getting to pass the ball to Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. After the group dominated in college, Jones found himself on the opposite side of the field of Waddle in their NFL debuts. Jones completed 74.4% of his passes and played pretty well, but the Patriots lost. His ridiculous completion rate continued the next week as New England took down Zach Wilson and the Jets. Jones was off to a great start, but a big bump in the road appeared in week 3, throwing for 3 interceptions and a blowout loss to the Saints. It proved that Jones wasn't perfect, but his biggest game of his career was coming up the ensuing Monday. With Tom Brady coming to town in his likely only game against the Patriots in Foxborough in his career, Jones arguably outplayed the veteran and nearly led New England to a win before a heartbreaking Nick Folk missed field goal. In the loss, Jones had 19 straight completions, tying Brady's franchise record. Week 5 got off to a horrible start, going down 9-22 to a bad Texans team. But Jones rallied back and put together his first game-winning drive of hopefully many more. The Patriots aren't with the top guns in the league, but they prove they can keep up in a loss to the Cowboys in week 6, showing that New England is far from the usual rebuild state. They went on to decimate the Jets, and while that's nothing special, Mac did show the ability to put up numbers, throwing for over 300 yards and 2 passing touchdowns in the win. This is a team that can win soon, and it rests on the shoulders of Mac Jones. He's in a great position to succeed for the future, because his coaches have prepared him to be great, but it's not going to happen overnight. I know the Tom Brady comparison is overplayed. They are far from the same person, but it's going to be the guy Mac is compared to for the rest of his career because of where he is. Jones isn't going to be Brady level. In fact, I'm willing to bet nobody ever will be again, but he can turn into a damn good quarterback. Jones is better as a rookie than Brady was. Obviously, it took Brady a couple of years to truly come around, but once he did, he had the mindset to make him the greatest player in NFL history. If Jones continues to work and keeps his no-nonsense mindset that has already been well on display during his rookie year, and Belichick stays in New England, don't be surprised when New England is a Super Bowl contender in a few seasons. Bill Belichick is just built different. And once he gets a guy that thinks like him and Brady did, it's over. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. Also, go ahead and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, where we're going to be posting all season long and would love to chat with you guys. Again, thank you for sticking to the end of the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Something about the girl.